Hello and welcome to Salty About Health. My name is Dalaney Algier, and I'm here with my mom and co-host, Mary. So, Mom, why are we salty about health?
Good question. It's because both of us have had struggles, some more serious than others, and no one showed us simple ways we could jump into the driver's seat and take control.
And why are we sharing our views with our listeners?
Well, because we want our listeners to realize that it may take time, but with some simple knowledge about health, they'll be able to make a few changes and dig deeper to take control of their well being and live a more vibrant life.
That's fantastic. But right now, before we get into all of that, we just need to do some housekeeping. Here we go. This is an opinion based podcast. This is not in any way offered as a diagnosis or treatment for any disease, illness, or infirmity for physical or mental condition or any other condition you may have. We are not doctors or practitioners of any kind. Persons needing medical care should obtain it from a medical practitioner. So, consult your practitioner before making any health decision. The opinions offered here in this podcast are ours alone. Again, we're not doctors, and the banter you're going to be listening to is our view and our view alone. Okay, that's done. We, of course, also want to have an open dialogue with our listeners. So stay tuned to the end of the episode, and we'll let you know all of the ways that we can connect. Welcome, everyone. We are so happy to have you back for episode 31. My mom recently mentioned that both my grandmother and my great aunt have been diagnosed with osteopenia, which means that their bones are more porous. Porous bones are weaker, so they could fracture more easily than bones of normal density. Osteopenia is a precursor to osteoporosis. And it seems that women over the age of 50 are more likely to develop osteoporosis. The condition is 4 times as likely in women than men. Men can get osteoporosis too, though, it's just less common. So, today we're going to talk about osteopenia and osteoporosis, their symptoms, causes, and natural support strategies to help prevent issues as we grow older, and with hope that those with osteopenia can reverse that bone loss before they develop into osteoporosis.
Yes, Delaney, I think this is a great topic to discuss today. There are a lot of things we can do for our bone health. Our bones are living tissue made up of cells, blood vessels, proteins, vitamins, and minerals. Bones have many functions, including providing structural support for the body and protection of vital organs. Bones also provide an environment for marrow and act as a storage area for minerals. Osteoporosis is a degenerative disease of the bones that interferes with the many vital functions they serve.
Yeah, and so, Mom, when you heard that your mom and aunt had osteopenia, you sent them an article that you found on drjockers.com. And today, you and I are just going to basically go over that article and share it with our listeners. And of course, we'll have the link for you all in the show notes. It's very detailed, which is very mom. So if that piques your interest, we urge you to read the entire article.
Yes, Delaney, I urge everyone to read the full article because around 10 million Americans have osteoporosis and about 44 million have low bone density and probably don't even know it.
Yeah. And I think my husband was talking to his doctor and they were talking about this. And we might get to this later in the article, but bones need you to exercise and work out just as much as your muscle does. So when you're working out, you're not only, tearing and putting back together the muscle and building muscle, but that stress is also working the bone and telling it to stay strong, which helps prevent osteoporosis.
We will get to that.
Cool. So, our listeners should also know that bones grow continually from birth to the end of the teenage years. And if you're Delaney, it was a very painful process.
I know we know you would grow an inch when before you went to bed, you'd say, "Oh, my legs hurt." And then the next morning, literally
Hmm.
would measure you and you would have grown an inch. It's amazing.
Yeah, it's so wild. And my husband was even worse. Like his was all the time. Mine mostly happened at night, which mean I couldn't
Yes.
sleep, which was terrible. But his was to the point where like his knee joint couldn't keep up with it. So he has, it has a special name, but basically his knee joint is separated. It's in two places
Oh, wow.
because the growth plates couldn't keep up. Anyways, so your bones reach a maximum strength, which is their peak bone mass and size when you reach early adulthood. And once you peak your bone mass, it's then can be maintained by a process called remodeling. It sounds like a house. And this is a continuous process in which old bone is removed, resorption, and new bone is created, formation. Can make a
Yes,
song
the
out of that. Resorption, formation, resorption.
Yes, the bone remodeling process revolves around two major cells, osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Osteoblasts build bone and act to increase bone mineralization. Osteoclasts work to break down bone tissue. These cells act in synergy to balance the bone building equation and effectively remodel healthier and stronger bone tissue. As we age, the rate of bone resorption is greater than the rate of bone formation, and this results in thinning of the bones.
This just makes me think of Wreck-It Ralph. I watched it
Oh,
recently
did you?
because my husband had not seen it, and he agrees that it's fantastic.
Ah,
But it is because like Ralph was trying to wreck the building in the video game, and then Fix It Felix is trying to fix it the whole time. So it's kind of the same thing.
I do remember
Yeah,
that movie. It's been
that's
a
really
while.
good. Also, there was someone at volleyball on Saturday who had a hammer that looked like the little tiny Fix It Felix hammer, and we were making fun of him.
Oh.
But anyways, so osteopenia and osteoporosis, which I feel like there's so much Latin in today's episode already. I feel like we need to just have an episode on Latin things. Anyways, when these two things occur, bones become weak and they lose minerals. So osteoporosis means porous bones, and it is a bone disease that occurs when the body loses too much bone, makes too little bone, or both. Osteoporotic bones have large holes and spaces and contain abnormal tissue structures. When the bone density is not low enough to be classified as osteoporosis, but not high enough to be normal, it's classified as osteopenia.
Yeah, so let's talk about the main causes of osteopenia and osteoporosis. They happen to be inactivity, aging, hormonal imbalances, long term use of certain medications, steroid use, low vitamin D levels, emotional stress, and nutritional deficiencies.
So, osteoporosis is often referred to as the silent disease because most people are not aware they have osteopenia or osteoporosis until they break a bone. Or they get a DEXA, a DEXA scan from their doctor. A DEXA scan is an imaging test that measures bone density or the strength. Bone loss is gradual and painless, and there are usually no symptoms to indicate a person is developing osteoporosis. A person with osteoporosis may notice they are getting shorter or their spine is curving. Elevated parathyroid hormone, PTH, is a major factor in these conditions. This hormone is raised by deficiencies of vitamin D or calcium or by excess phosphorus. Hip fractures may be the most serious complication of osteoporosis. 1 in 2 women and 1 in 4 men over the age of 50 will break a bone due to osteoporosis. 24% of hip fracture patients over 50 die in the year following the fracture, and 1/4 of hip fracture patients end up in a nursing home, and half never regain previous function. And I learned a little bit about hip fractures, and it's interesting because if you do have osteoporosis, what usually happens is not the fall does not cause the break causes the fall. So because your bone is so weak while you're just walking around, the hip fractures and then you fall.
Huh. It could probably go vice versa too.
It could. So this
'Cause
is
I
like if
know,
you have some serious osteoporosis, that's usually
yeah,
like how it occurs.
yeah. But if you've got osteopenia, because I've known people that just step off like a little step and they literally snap their ankle in half.
Oh my gosh.
And it's just because they had such, porous bones and
Mm-hmm.
not knowing.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is kind of, isn't it kind of like crazy to think that it can get so weak where just like your body weight while you're walking around can break your bones.
Sure. And I would think today, if you see a doctor regularly, that would be over a certain age, a DEXA scan would be just normal, because I know
Yeah.
your Grams, obviously, and aunt get one.
Yeah.
And so I think they're very aware of that. And when you hit a certain age, it's just one of the things they throw in there.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's tell our listeners natural strategies to prevent and treat osteoporosis.
And I'm sure one of these things is going to be don't eat sugar.
Of course.
How did I know?
Because I wouldn't be your mom if I didn't mention that. The good news is that there are many safe and effective natural strategies to reduce the risk of fracture, support a healthy bone mineral density, bone structure, and structural integrity. These strategies include nutrition, exercise, stress reduction, and key supplements. Dr. Jockers points out in the article that these strategies are not at this time FDA approved to prevent, mitigate, treat, or cure osteoporosis and shouldn't be confused as such. However, they are important for the health of your bones and overall body. And I am on different blogs, and I know people who have osteopenia or have had it and reversed it. And I can tell you the Weston Price Foundation has written a lot about that. Back around 1900, when Weston Price went around to all over the world and looked at the structure of teeth in different cultures. And he found that the people that ate the most like a whole food diet with fresh, milk from like the goat
Mm-hmm.
and butter and cheese and fats. I think fats play an important part, but you can look that up. And he found that those children had a perfect alignment of their jaw and their teeth
Oh, wow.
if they just ate the native diet,
Mm-hmm.
as opposed to the people eating more processed or different kinds of foods that were not native to them. And those are the type of, those were the children that would need the braces, or just back then, had misalignment. And
Yeah.
so, yes, eating a good whole food diet really helps with bone structure. So
Okay.
you should remember that when you have to start having children, so you don't have to pay for braces. They're expensive.
Yeah. Hey, I am pretty proud with I only needed them for like a year or two.
It didn't matter. It still costs the same as if you had
Yeah.
them on for 5 or 10
Okay.
years. They put them on, and
I
you
don't know
should
for like the
see.
different visits, cut down on the visit costs.
No, it's a package, and you should have been an orthodontist.
Nope. I like dealing with not people.
Yes. Not looking in people's mouths.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I think the last time I went to the dentist, I forgot to like brush my teeth before I went, and I
Oh,
panicked and I told them, I'm like, I'm so sorry.
that'd be scary.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure I had like soup or something for lunch, so it wasn't even that bad, but I was just like felt
Worried
bad.
about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
they probably see it all the time. It's like what I
Mhm.
do. People are, they'll go, but you're like, oh my gosh, I've seen worse. And also, well, my dentist they have a little pack of like a throwaway toothbrush.
Mm-hmm.
It's, not, it's made out of all recycled, but it's this tiny thing with a little bit of toothpaste in there that,
Oh,
if you
that's
want, you
cool.
can get that at the counter. And if you forget,
Oh, that's
yeah.
nice. Now they just give us like the toothbrush at the end, the
Well, we
little
get
like
that too.
thanks for coming package, so we don't get
Yeah.
anything at the beginning.
Yeah.
But well, okay, so back to all the bones in our body. One of the best strategies for preventing and treating osteopenia and osteoporosis is to consume an anti-inflammatory healing diet because these foods naturally boost bone density. A healing diet removes foods that cause inflammation and includes organic, non GMO vegetables and fruits, healthy fats, and clean protein. A healing diet reduces inflammation, stabilizes blood sugar, reduces toxic loads, provides necessary nutrients, and supports healthy blood pH levels. And I'm sure most of our listeners at this point know this is mom and I's mantra.
Yes, because it works. Okay, so that being said, the foods to avoid would be highly inflammatory foods, because osteoporosis is associated with inflammation in the bones. Highly inflammatory foods are refined sugars, there you go, and grains, and any foods that are easily metabolized into sugar, so high glycemic foods. These foods upregulate inflammation and create extra acidity in the tissues. It is important to avoid sodas. In addition to sugar, most sodas have a high phosphoric acid content, which can remove calcium from the bones. Drinks and foods with high levels of caffeine can also interfere with calcium absorption. And meat and dairy from conventionally raised animals, farmed fish, processed foods, and highly processed vegetable oils such as canola, peanut, cottonseed, soy, and safflower promote inflammation and should be eliminated. So I just want to say real quick, go back. What I used to tell people
Mm-hmm.
about sodas, like if you could
Oh,
give
yeah.
up anything, you'd want to give up soda. And I remember someone telling me this once or reading it somewhere. But when you drink a soda, it is so acidic. What do people normally do when they have acidity or a sour stomach? In the old days, they would take Tums, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and what is Tums? Tums is calcium.
Calcium. Yeah.
So, and that would put out the fire. If you're not, so your body needs that to, because your blood is needs to be a certain pH. So it's constantly regulating that. So if you're totally acidic all the time, it is taking the calcium out of the bones to put out the fire to get your blood back into the right pH.
Mm-hmm.
But then instead of going back into the bones, which we'll talk about this later about how K2 is so important, it starts going where it can, and that's where you get you can get your kidney stones, but you can get blocks in your arteries, especially your heart.
Okay.
So because the calcium's got to go somewhere, and if it's not told or not, it doesn't know where to go, it will go into your arteries. And so a lot of people can have strokes, things like that. So that's why now we don't have to be totally pH, a high pH, that's not good either,
Mm-hmm.
but you should balance it. And what we find is obviously sodas are highly acidic to your body. So your body's doing that. And then, we eat what we can afford. So what they're not putting down meat and dairy from conventionally raised animals, but they are bringing it out that they are much more acidic because they are on a diet of corn and soy, which is not natural to a cow. A cow likes grass. So a grass-fed cow is going to have more omega-3s and their meat isn't going to be as acidic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's going to be a little different than the cows at the feedlots because they're fed corn and soy, which is
Mm-hmm.
probably genetically modified. So that makes their tissues and muscles more acidic. So when you eat that meat, it's going to be more acidic. So the important thing is to balance out with some good vegetables or something that's, a high pH. And then processed vegetable oils just they're very inflammatory, they're finding.
Okay.
Very, very inflammatory. And they're saying that avocado and olive are the best, or if you're going to fry something, whatever, saturated fat. But you get the seed oils,
Hmm.
and they're just because of the omega-6 content. I mean, we need omega-6, but it is just, we all get so much omega-6 that it just inflames your body.
Yeah.
So I just want to make sure that, we're not telling you not to eat and just strictly go organic, but we
Yeah.
are telling you to, make choices where you also balance out the acidity.
Yeah. And there's like I really like going to Aldi, and their own brand, they do, grass-fed hamburger and stuff, so like you can still shop with a budget and just, and find stuff that's a little bit better,
Exactly.
you
And
know.
and Walmart even, they
Yeah.
had wonderful ones that were in the frozen section, and it was just 100% grass fed, and I used to get those all the time. They've stopped them because they have some in the fresh and they're a little more expensive, but
Hmm.
they still have the organic turkey burgers with all the other burgers, out there that they sell. Though I don't know what they're feeding their turkeys. Of course, that could still be corn and soy. But
Yeah.
but if it's organic, it's not GMO, but still, yeah, you're right. Grass fed is easier to find
Hmm.
at Aldi, Walmart, a lot of different places.
Yeah. So, and then just to circle back around to the soda thing, my husband and I guess whoever he was in elementary school with were pretty much traumatized about soda, because I think they made them do a science experiment where they dropped like baby teeth or something into soda and like watched
Ooh,
it like instantly well, not instantly disintegrate, but like basically disintegrate. So
that
needless to
was
say, he doesn't drink a lot of soda.
that that teacher should get an award. Yes, that's why everybody should do that. Yeah.
Yeah,
All teachers should show their students that.
that's great.
That's wonderful because it's a great demonstration, very visual, and obviously you remember it for a very long time.
Yes, yeah. So, as we've been talking about the foods that you should be eating on an anti inflammatory healing diet are whole, unprocessed foods. Choosing grass fed or pasture raised or wild caught meat and fish is a good way to go. And enjoying a variety of lower carbohydrate, low glycemic, colorful vegetables and fruits for their abundant antioxidants and phytonutrients. Plentiful amounts of herbs are also wonderful to use in a healing diet. I'd like to point out that I went to the grocery store one day and I couldn't find like cut fresh basil, but the basil plant was like $2. So now I just have a basil plant.
Oh,
So
cool.
you can do stuff like that. There are many low to medium glycemic vegetables, including cruciferous veggies like leeks, shallots, cucumbers, asparagus, and leafy greens, and low glycemic fruits, including berries, lemons and limes, grapefruit, and Granny Smith apples, which I love berries. So I'm on that train 100%. Healthy fats are a very important part of a healing diet. Healthy fats are found in coconut, olives, avocados, and their oils, and in grass fed butter and ghee. Omega 3 fatty acids and conjugated linoleic acid, CLA, found in wild caught salmon and grass fed beef and dairy, are fats with many bone health benefits. These healthy fats are an efficient source of fuel for the body to combat inflammation and maintain bone strength.
And again, remember, perfect alignment of teeth.
And your perfect teeth.
So real quick, you could say, it has listed the good fat is butter, tallow, ghee, coconut milk, coconut oil, avocado oil, olive oil, fish oil, and eggs. But the bad fat, which are all inflammatory because how they're processed too,
Mhm.
and the very high omega-6 content of them is canola oil, soybean oil, sunflower oil, corn oil, safflower oil, grapeseed oil, margarine. I didn't even know that. I thought that was just made up stuff. And
Yeah.
cotton,
Yeah, no,
cottonseed
because
oil.
margarine's made from like olive oil and butter, isn't it?
Well, nowadays, I don't know. I thought it was trans fat. I didn't think it was
Okay.
even legal anymore.
Uh,
Well, I know they can't have trans fats, at least over 1% in any kind of product, I thought.
okay.
But
I just remember because they still make this. They said that I can't believe it's not butter. Like,
no,
doesn't
do
that still
they?
exist?
I I don't know. I just get butter. So,
Yeah.
but cottonseed oil and peanut oil also. And cottonseed oil has another, cotton, they use a lot of pesticides on that crop anyway. Okay.
Yeah. I
So,
mean, I prefer my cotton in my clothing, I guess.
yeah. Yeah, I did watch a video once. It was pretty amazing about the clothes industry and how they prepare things, and just how it can pollute the environment. Let's
Oh
just
my
say
gosh.
that.
Can we talk about a side note how they used to have to make linen and clothing in the olden days? Because, oh my gosh, no wonder only rich people had more than like one dress because like it took
Yeah.
forever to
Yes.
make. Just like when, wait, we did that right in Williamsburg. We like went through the process of
Yeah.
that one place. Oh my gosh, I'd go out of my mind. I would just walk around in leaves.
Well, hey, that might be an option.
Oh my gosh.
But can you really imagine though? Also, if you gained weight, like then what do you do? Or you're
Yeah, that too.
pregnant.
Like I think actually, okay, side note to all of that, we should just go back to that because then it's like, oh, I just gotta stay this way. That would be a great motivator for me. I'd be like, I don't want to put the effort in to find new clothing, so I'm just gonna stay this size.
Yeah, it's not like they had a Goodwill back then, and you
Oh
just,
my gosh.
went to
That'd
the
be kind of
Goodwill and got
yeah.
something.
But I am
Or
glad that we have lots of choices now, but it's just wow. So
yes.
anyways.
Okay, so along with a healing diet, it is important to include foods that can boost bone density. Raw cultured dairy, such as kefir, yogurt, and raw cheese, contain calcium, magnesium, vitamin D, and K, and phosphorus, all of which help build strong bones. Sea vegetables and green leafy vegetables also contain vitamins and minerals that are critical for bone formation and bone strength. Foods rich in omega-3 fats, such as wild caught salmon and sardines. I know Delaney likes sardines.
I've tried, okay, multiple times. It's just they're gross.
Walnuts and certain seeds help reduce inflammation. Additionally, osteoporosis may be related to an acidic body environment, so including alkaline foods like fruits and vegetables can promote a more alkaline environment.
And a sufficient intake of minerals is essential for many bodily functions and systems, including our bones. So, bones are made up of calcium, phosphorus, sodium, and other minerals. Absorption of minerals is critical to maintaining bone strength. Many people do not produce enough stomach acid to properly absorb minerals and other nutrients. A digestive enzyme with stomach acid support can be very helpful.
We did an episode on that.
We did, yes, all about stomach
Mhm.
acid. You will also want to consume trace mineral rich foods. Or if you're a horse, you just have a mineral lick and a salt lick.
There
But
you
anyway,
go.
so if you don't want to resort to that, you can eat things like sea vegetables and fermented foods, which is in my top 10 of favorite foods, probably.
Mm.
Be sure to also take a few deep breaths and reduce your stress levels before you eat in order to help activate that stomach acid so that you can digest and absorb the minerals efficiently and effectively. And we also talked about how if you are preparing the food and smelling it while you're working on it, then your body has time to get excited about it and start those digestive juices flowing so that you are ready to eat it after preparing it.
Yes, that's important. You should really enjoy your meals and not eat them on the run.
Yeah.
And you were talking about stomach acid. I was cleaning out the basement the other day, and I did. I found your seventh grade report on,
Oh, you found it because
yeah, like
we joked
on
about
a
it like it's
poster
still
board or
existing.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
it's a
gosh.
trifold. I think it was labeled "Why Your Stomach Doesn't Eat Itself."
Oh my, it sounds like
That's
something
good.
Delaney would say. That's great. Also, I almost won an award for that, but apparently, like, I wasn't very good at presenting then. So my teacher told me when I had to present it to the judges, like, I was too nervous. So lost my chance at the award, but that's okay.
Yes, but now looking back, well, now who you are now, you would do that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so exercise is critical for both maintaining bone health and preventing fractures. We mentioned that earlier. Weight bearing exercise has been shown to have positive effects on bone loss by increasing bone formation and decreasing bone reabsorption. Most people think of weight bearing exercise as lifting weights. Actually, weight bearing exercise is any exercise that requires your bones and muscles to support your body weight. Examples are running, walking, dancing, and tennis.
And if you want to know about all the running options, just listen to our last 3
That's
episodes,
right. That's
a
right. We
mini
did.
series on running.
Yes. See, and it'll help your bones too.
Boom.
Incorporating balance exercise is also important, like Tai Chi
Mhm.
to your exercise regimen, because it can reduce overall risk of falling and being injured. So it's great for balance.
Yes. And osteoporosis is associated with inflammation in the bones, and omega 3 fatty acids help support a healthy inflammatory process and provide building blocks for healthy bone tissues and hormones that regulate bone tissue formation. Omega 3 fatty acids are essential fats that are found in fatty fish, such as we said before, a wild caught salmon, yum, sardine,
Mhm.
meh, grass fed meats, pasture raised eggs, nuts, especially walnuts, and seeds, flax, hemp, pumpkin, and chia seeds. Chia seeds are pretty great in yogurt with some low glycemic berries, just throwing that out there.
Mm.
Uh, Omega 3 fatty acids have wide ranging health benefits. Plant based omega 3s, such as flax oil, only contain the small chain omega 3 called ALA and do not have any DHA. It's very hard for our body to convert ALA into DHA, so you can always get a high quality fish or krill oil that is rich in EPA and DHA. You want to find a brand that is molecularly distilled to take out any heavy metals and other unwanted contaminants. Be sure to discuss with your physician before using fish oils, as they have a blood thinning effect and can be contraindicated if you are on blood thinning medications.
Yeah. So, yeah, the molecularly distilled is important. And I'll tell my clients, and it's usually like right on the label under, whatever it says, fish oil, krill
Mhm.
oil, and it'll have that because it takes out the heavy metals, which we know are from Fukushima and all that. It's important
And the
to
one in the
take
Gulf
out
of
whatever,
Mexico and
yeah, whatever
everywhere.
contaminants that are being dumped into the ocean. It's important to try to get as many of those out as you can.
Yeah.
Okay, so calcium is a major building block of bone tissue. In fact, 99% of our body's calcium stores are housed in our bones. Consuming optimal amounts of calcium from food or supplementation is critical to prevent and treat osteoporosis. Calcium is best obtained from foods in your diet. Dairy products, fish with soft, edible bones, such as sardines,
Ugh,
green vegetables, broccoli, curly, kale, and bok choy. I love bok choy.
so good.
And nuts, Brazil nuts and almonds are all good sources. I have a book called The Complete Book of Chinese Health and Healing by Daniel Reed. It's a very good book if anybody wants to look that up. And he points out that only foods with calcium to phosphorus ratios of 2 to 1 or better should be used as a primary source of calcium. He points out that milk does not meet this requirement, but almonds, broccoli, kale, sesame seeds, kelp, and sardines do. He also states that osteoporosis is caused not so much by calcium deficiency in the diet as it is by dietary factors which leach calcium from bones
Mm.
and teeth, kind of like that demonstration that your husband watched in grade school.
Yeah.
He also mentions supplementing with 3 milligrams of boron to help the bones assimilate and retain calcium. If you are unable to get enough in your diet, supplementing with calcium citrate can be effective. Both Jockers and Reed state that excess phosphorus inhibits calcium absorption and may aggravate a dietary deficiency. Excess caffeine and salt can also increase calcium loss from the body. And also, people with kidney disease have to watch their phosphorus intake.
Oh, okay.
It is also important to note that calcium deposition in the body works in tandem with vitamin D, vitamin K, and magnesium. So, and most people actually don't need much calcium and should focus on getting plenty of these other nutrients. So it's something it just needs to be well-rounded.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay, so also including optimal amounts of zinc, not on an empty stomach, and magnesium in your diet is important for improving your overall health. Both zinc and magnesium are important for bone health and for supporting the immune system. Zinc is a mineral required for bone tissue renewal and mineralization. Foods high in zinc include pasteurized raised chicken and eggs, grass-fed beef and dairy, spinach, and wild-caught salmon. Nuts and seeds such as cashews, almonds, pumpkin seeds, and watermelon seeds.
Mm-hmm.
You're supposed to try to eat watermelon seeds?
You can.
Ugh, okay. There's a book, it's like a kid's book where the girl eats a watermelon seed and then a watermelon grows inside of her. So I think that has traumatized my generation from ever attempting to eat a watermelon seed.
Probably.
But anyways, all of those things are apparently high in zinc. It's obviously best to soak or sprout nuts and seeds to reduce the level of phytic acids. If you want a how to, listen to our episode about that. I need to start remembering which number they are, but you'll see it in the title.
Yes, we did talk about that also. It's funny how you said not on an empty stomach. You know how all those people, when they're sick, they get the zinc lozenges and they have them on an empty stomach and then you feel worse.
Yeah.
Zinc can be tough.
So much. Well, it's traumatized my grandmother. So
Yes, it has. But I have some encapsulated ones that she didn't realize existed. So she got those instead of, I don't know why they do that to you. The zinc is so hard to get coated. Most of them aren't, but you can get them that way.
Okay.
But I think what we're seeing here is a trend that you need other minerals to help the calcium do its job.
Yes.
And work correctly. So magnesium is also a crucial nutrient that supports over 300 physiological processes or functions in the body.
Wow.
It is referred to as the master mineral and plays an important role in forming bone. Magnesium is critical to all aspects of vitamin D and calcium metabolism. The top food sources of magnesium are leafy greens such as Swiss chard and spinach, sea vegetables, sprouts, and avocados. Grass-fed dairy and wild-caught fish are rich in magnesium, and pumpkin seeds, nuts, and dark chocolate are also sources of magnesium.
Oh my gosh. Because I was in the big city yesterday for volleyball, I went to like the natural grocery store, and their aisle with chocolate in it is, oh my gosh, there's so many dark chocolate options now. It was a beautiful sight.
I know that made you happy.
Oh yeah. And I didn't actually get any, but it was just really nice to look at and appreciate.
But I think you're going back this next weekend for the volleyball tournament, right?
Oh yes, different town, but I think they also have some nice stores, so we'll see.
Well, someone told me that there's a Lidl about a half hour from me, and we had talked about that before. I know, and I have to check it out.
Oh my gosh, everyone, we know Aldi is great, but Lidl is the shizness.
Yes.
Okay, so also very important for your bones are vitamins D3 and vitamin K2. They work synergistically to promote bone health and reduce the incidences of fractures. They work together to help guide calcium into the bone tissue and prevent it from accumulating in places such as the arteries or apparently your kidney. Ugh. Vitamin D3 is created in your skin in response to sun exposure. Aim to get 15 to 20 minutes of sun exposure daily, or if you're Delaney, you were at a cloudy volleyball tournament, and even though you put sunscreen on, the one spot that you missed got sunburned.
Yes, you
Um,
do get burned easily. You don't have a lot of melatonin in your skin, but that's okay. So you're getting a lot of vitamin D because people with darker skin have a harder time getting the vitamin D levels up.
it's a vicious cycle. At least it doesn't freckle, it tans, so
That's
it's
right.
redeeming. Okay. Uh, there are numerous animal based food sources of vitamin D3. The best dietary source of vitamin D are wild caught salmon and fatty fish, cod liver oil, grass fed butter, and raw cheese. And if your grocery store is cool like mine, most of the cheese is labeled if it's raw or pasteurized. Egg yolks also supply vitamin D3, mushrooms, unfortunately, and beef liver.
Oh, those two are your favorite, mushrooms and beef liver.
Yeah,
You
no.
love it.
Nope.
Mm.
And if you think you are lacking in vitamin D, you can always take a supplement, and most of them include K2 in the supplement. So just make sure before you buy it.
Yes, that's good because getting enough vitamin K2 in your diet is key to maintaining healthy bones and protecting against fractures. It is needed to form a bone building protein called osteocalcin, which is a necessary protein for maintaining calcium homeostasis in bone tissue. It works with osteoblast cells to build healthy bone tissue. When we are deficient in K2, osteocalcin production is inhibited, which reduces calcium flow into bone tissue, leaving the calcium to possibly build up in the arteries, like we discussed earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Foods rich in K2 are meat, dairy, fermented foods, and natto. I've tasted natto. I
What
just
the
couldn't.
heck is natto?
It's this fermented soybean stuff, but it's got like sticky, like booger glue.
Stop.
It's, I tried, I could not, but it's, I think, is it Japanese use it a lot.
Mm,
I'll just go with the kimchi.
okay.
Vitamin K2 is also produced by the beneficial bacteria in your gut. And the combination of vitamins D3 and K2 enhances osteocalcin accumulation in bone cells greater than either nutrient alone. Increased osteocalcin formation significantly improves bone mineral density. And they're pretty much putting K2 in all vitamin D supplements. Not
Mm-hmm.
all, but it's that important. So
Yeah.
I have one with it's got a vitamin D3 and K2, and then I have K2 alone, and I'll take that too. I
Okay.
listened to a doctor about 7, 8 years ago from Canada talking about it, and she used quite a bit. So it is important. So everybody needs to look into that.
And we of course also did a episode about stress, but just it relates to everything in your body really. So there is also a relationship between stress and osteoporosis. Increased stress hormones can wreak havoc on your body, including your bones. Stress induces physiological changes leading to osteoporosis. Stress also induces behaviors that may lead to osteoporosis, such as distorted eating patterns, drinking alcohol, lack of exercise, and poor sleep habits. Additionally, osteoporosis can lead to stress due to the anxiety, depression, and social isolation that can accompany osteoporosis. It's critical to take steps to reduce stress and lower elevated cortisol levels daily. Ways to reduce stress are grounding, deep breathing exercises, sunlight exposure, Epsom salt baths, and dry brushing, petting a puppy, talking to your friends, reading a book you like, listening to our podcast.
Yes, I totally agree. Excellent ways. Okay, melatonin is a hormone produced by the body that regulates circadian rhythm. As we age, our melatonin levels decrease, which may lead to imbalanced bone remodeling. Recent studies have shown that melatonin may have a positive effect on the skeleton. Melatonin was shown to increase bone mineral density after 1 year of treatment in a study of postmenopausal women with osteopenia. Melatonin can be taken as a supplement. However, it is possible to promote your body's own ability to make it as necessary. And the best way to support your own production is to try and control your light exposure to match sunrise and sunset. So, if possible, wake up in the morning and watch the sunrise. That's out for me, but to help set your circadian rhythm for the day. This only takes 5 to 15 minutes. Next, it is critical to control exposure to blue light devices, like phones, TV, computers, etc., immediately upon waking or 2 to 4 hours before bed, as it is overly stimulating to the body. And I do try to do that. And you can also get sunrise, which I want sometime, alarm clocks. And it has like a natural, it just mimics the sunrise. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, unless you're me and my husband and you sleep with a sleep mask. So
that's true. That's true.
But that's because I don't want to be there for the moonrise in my skylight at, midnight. So
that's funny. Oh, it was a beautiful full moon the other day.
Oh, it was so annoying. I could see everything. It was just like someone had a spotlight on.
You need to find a way to cover that, I think.
Or well, I have. It's on my face.
That's true.
But anyways, this was a lot of information, but it is important, and we do our best to get the information to you all, to empower you, because when it comes to your own health, no one cares more about it than you do. Well, thanks everyone for listening. And again, we want to hear from you guys. We always want to hear from you guys. Please, please, please reach out to us. And here are just a few ways that you can do that. You can reach out via Instagram and Facebook. Find us at Salty About Health. Even Snapchat at Salty Health. You can email us at saltyabouthealth@gmail.com. Or if you just want to find all that in one place, check out our website, saltyabouthealth.com. We've got all the ways for you to listen and connect there. And finally, if you like what you hear today, leave us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen. We really appreciate it. So, Mom, if they want to hear from you on social media, where can they find you?
Okay, I am a certified health coach, and I do coach one-on-one. So if you're interested, you can contact me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com. I also do research for people who are interested in finding alternative approaches to do in conjunction with the health issue or illness their doctor is treating them for. So again, just reach out to me at mary@feedyourselfhealthy.com.
And if you guys want to find me, I'm not a health coach, but I'm on Instagram hanging out there at Dalaney.a. Find out how to spell my name in the show notes and everything. And of course, I'll be the one mainly keeping an eye on the social media. So always happy to chat with you guys via the Salty Network. Also, just want to shout out our intro and outro music. It is by Yule, and you can find her at www.yulearts.com. That's EULARTS. You can also find her on Instagram at Yule_arts or Spotify and YouTube. Check her out. Her piano music and everything else is amazing. And until next time, stay salty.
Stay salty.